questions? I have a motion that we approve the minutes from the prior month.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from last month.
Roll call, Wayne.
Aye.
John.
Aye.
And myself, aye. Moving to our financial report. Jackie, you want to get in with the treasurers?
Balances at the end of October. In the general fund, $596,817.79. In the special fund, ending balance, $71,071.24. State aid checking, $165,375.06. Recreation checking, $10,838.78. In the fire tax checking, $65,450.27. In the sewer department, their general fund had an ending balance, $439,034.73. Special fund, $376,576.98. And in the bond account, $581,082.83.
I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
I'll second that.
Roll call, Wayne.
Aye.
John. And myself, aye. And then bills to be paid.
The general fund for the township, $41,316.42. Of the fire tax account, $1,667.38. And out of the sewer account, general fund, $1,151.08.
I have a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second it.
Roll call, Wayne.
Aye.
John.
Aye.
And myself, aye. Our first letter of correspondence is from the Central Mountains ATV Association. Just kind of reaching out to us about if we have a legal ordinance designating ATV road usage, and letting us know that they, in coordination with DCNR, provide necessary signs, posts, and labors to install them on the ATV roads at no charge. I know they approached us a few years ago when they were kind of getting going with their project up north, and kind of deemed that we really didn't have any roads for them to use at the time. Our only road really is Queens Run. So, and that leads into another township and eventually to Blacktop, which doesn't tie into the trail system in Haneyville. So, just letting it table for now. If something changes in the future, that they expand it, or can, welcome to come back and speak with us about it. But until then, we're kind of hands are tied, I guess.
Yeah.
Everybody here all right? Talking loud enough. Next letter is a letter for Relay for Life, just looking to use the park next spring there. They're looking to do it on May 16th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. And they've used the park for several years now. I don't believe there's been any issues or anything like that. They've always provided the proper documents, so. Do I have a motion that we set that date for them and make approval?
I'll make a motion to let them use it that week.
I'll second it.
Roll call, Wayne.
Aye.
John.
Aye.
And myself, aye. And then we have two letters from the fire company, just letters for permission to make purchases. They have one looking to purchase portable radios, and then another one for 6 sets of firefighting gear, which will cover that down under new business. We can go in depth on that and explain that stuff then. All right, down to public comment. Does anybody have any questions about anything under old business or new business before we get started?
I do, please.
Okay.
At the prior meeting, I had asked about the sewer house, and I see that it now says that it has been tabled until next year.
That was what we had decided, because there were some other things that we were looking to see take place. One of them was working with Keystone Central about the property next door, the piece of land there, because that kind of dictated a couple things. So I don't know if we're going to cover anything with it at the next meeting, but potentially we do have some things in the works right now that might be lining us up to maybe get back on track with discussion of whether or not we need to keep the property and potentially sell it. So we're working on a project at our township building right now that the guys started within the past week or so.
Well, I'm sorry, but I mean, that's great, and I'm all for it, but it seems like there's an awful lot going on behind the scenes. And there's a lot of discussion that the public's not hearing about the sewer house.
Right.
So,
To be honest with you, the only discussion we had about it was, there was an idea floated about potentially moving all the offices from the township to the sewer house, and there wasn't an agreement amongst all three of us on that, and we kind of backed off for a while, and now we're trying to maybe put some other things in motion that might allow us to maybe move away from that property. So, but I mean, other than that, there's been no discussion behind the scenes or really in the meeting other than, there's nothing new, we'll just talk about it next month, you know? So,
okay,
yeah.
all right, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll jump down to the department reports. Sewer report, we don't have any sewer members here, but I guess I'll speak on behalf of what I may know. They've been out just doing normal maintenance, checking manholes and highlighting some things. I think they've been working with Jackie on budget stuff as well, trying to propose or plan out things for next year. We have some issues that need to be resolved and trying to put prices on those things and put them in the budget for next year. Manhole repairs, and I know one project we had planned on that there's a slight issue with. We're hopefully going to have that completed next year as well on Cardinal Drive. So, but other than that, they did move forward with the Muffin Monster thing that we talked about last month. There was an issue with the phone call system that we have set up there that calls out with the flow rate, or with the, if there's any warnings and stuff like that. One of the systems went down and they were replacing that. So you guys have anything to add under sewer?
Pretty much it, I was gonna say the whole thing,
Yeah.
goes down, so.
Yeah. Okay. Recreation, it's a quiet time of year. Just the only thing really to add that maybe to be put out there publicly is Friday the water will be shut down there at the bathrooms and stuff. We'll be closing things up for the season. So we normally do that at the 1st of November, but we got lucky with some nice weather there and decided to leave it go a little bit longer. So, but they will, it's scheduled for the water and everything to be shut off and closed up on Friday. Road report, since our last meeting, they completed the paving project out on North Vista. And the guys have gone back after that as well and done some berm work there. I know the berms, there's quite a drop off in some spots there. They've been doing the leaf pickups. I know Jackie's been getting phone calls about that. We're scheduled through next week, but...
No, this Friday.
Oh, this Friday, we're not doing it next, on
Well,
Monday?
we would announce tonight if we were going
Okay.
to.
I think that, by the looks of things, most of the leaves are down at this point from the high winds, and they, I mean, from what I've seen driving around, it don't look like there's a whole lot of piles left, so maybe we'll just leave the leaf box on for right now. And if we get, I know in years past we've gotten some random phone calls that, hey, are they still going to come around, and they could drive out that day and, you know, get a couple here and there. But other than that, it'll immediately commence once it snows in the forecast, so because that leaf box will have to be removed from the truck. So we'll obviously operate through this week and then kind of eye things up for going forward. So our guys will be off intermittently for hunting and things like that and family stuff, so it gets a little sporadic here starting soon. You guys think of anything to add for road report stuff?
Nah, I mean, they're just working around building and stuff,
Yeah.
too, stuff on it, that's it.
Yeah, and might as well address that now. We're working out behind the township area. We have it's a building, I guess you want to call it. It's an open garage space that we're trying to dress up a little bit and potentially use for an extended garage for the road guys. So it's gonna 30 by 40 maybe, is that what that size is approximately back there. So they've been digging it out and preparing for concrete work. We're looking at maybe cutting a hole in the back to extend out behind there for some more storage space for attachments and things like that. And which hopefully that might lead to some other things for us as well. So, which in turn, Michelle, would be about the sewer property that you were asking about. So, move on to old business, fire truck purchase. Wayne, do you want to cover that? I know that you guys had a little committee meeting or something.
Yeah, we went over the 2 trucks, and we decided that we'll have a special meeting on the 24th, at 6:30 in the mic
Yes.
here,
Yes.
and then move on with whatever,
Right.
yeah.
So next Tuesday, 6:30, and I heard there was discussion about maybe even getting a truck, like a demo to bring. Is that still something that's going to happen?
We can see about getting a demo, yeah.
It's not necessary, but I
I mean,
know.
we're gonna bring you handies over, it's sort of close to, not as big, but it's sort of close, but, I mean, I can try to get a one here, I don't know how easy that's gonna be.
Right. And did you? I know when it was talked about there was 2, but you guys did on one then, or 0?
Yeah, I mean, there's still 2 on the table, yes.
Right.
Yeah, there's still 2 in there.
There's 2 on the table.
Right. And now it was KME and then
Pierce.
Gators. Okay. Is there anything else you guys can add about it? I mean, want to?
I mean, I don't have nothing to add about it, I mean, we have the blueprints, if somebody wants to look at it, the books are available, if somebody wants to look at them.
Okay.
I think they're still at the township building, so.
No. Do you remember? I don't have it in front of me. Do you remember what the pricing was on any of that stuff? Do you guys?
One was what, 7,
7,
under 710, the other was
750 or something.
764 or something like that. It's like that.
Yeah. Is that? I know you guys were going to check into. You said something about the tools or whatever. Is that something you guys are still doing then? Looking at?
The hydraulics?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
And that'll just be included on. That's just be added on to the
yep.
loan. It's just going to be all bundled in. Okay.
And they're both CoStar price, right? Mike?
Yes,
That's the state. This kind of
Yes.
stuff, right?
yep.
Okay. And I guess we'll just kind of lay it out next week and
Yep.
go from there. Okay. Do you guys have anything else to add about that?
No, not right now.
After we're on a meeting next week.
Yeah.
Is that going to be a public meeting or just?
No, it's
committee meeting?
public meeting next Tuesday, 6:30 here at the fire hall. The part-time police officer update. Steve, you're still holding pattern, right? For now.
Yeah, for now, with the COVID and everything going on, we
Yeah.
kind of sat back on that a little bit.
Okay. Communication policy, we'll just go into executive session here at the end. I made some notes and maybe we can sit with Bobby here quick and button it up and then maybe, Jack, did you advertise for the meeting next?
Not yet.
Maybe if we can just do it as, for the fire truck and any other township business that comes about and then maybe we can just, you know,
Yeah, 'cause we're all.
Give you a chance
we're all
to-
agreed on when we get it done, so.
yeah. Okay. All right. I'll jump down to the budget here and renew business. Here, Jackie just kind of buttoned up some things there. Is there, do you have the copies in here, Jackie?
I think it's in the front of your book.
It is. Okay. I haven't really had too much of an opportunity to look at it, just kind of put together now, but I mean, the only thing I can really say right now is we're not doing a tax increase for the township. There will be copies made available to the township this week if anybody wants to stop and get one. So I know we didn't have anything brought with us here tonight because we were over here, but If you're interested in getting a copy of the budget, you can stop the township and Jackie will give you a copy of it. Or if you need one, we can get you a copy as well to go down through stuff. So this is pretty much what we're projecting out. There might be some changes in between now and next month, but it's gonna be pretty close, I think, to what we're shooting for. So we're just gonna kind of comb through it one last time and then have it over there for people to review and then hopefully adopt everything next month. So jump down here to the fire company request. Mike, you might have to, are you familiar with all this stuff to do a little? Because I mean, we have the stuff here, but basically there's two requests, portable radios and then the gear. You want to go over it?
The turnout gear, 6 sets of turnout gear includes coat, pants, and boots for 6 of the guys. We already got the helmets, those will finish up, guys, and we should be good hopefully for the next couple of years, hopefully,
Okay.
with the gear. And the radios are 6 radios and a bank charger to start replacing the radios that we have now that are putting near 18 to 20 years old. So we have a set of them that we keep replacing batteries and stuff. So
Okay.
that was,
So the total cost for the 6 radios and then that bank charger, that's $5,538.75.
Yep.
And then the 6 sets of the gear is $3,165
a set.
per set.
Per set.
Right.
Set.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking at like $20,000 for
Yeah.
6 sets of turnout gear. Yeah, that's not, I wish we could buy 6 sets of turnout gear for that amount.
Mhm. So that's what this one is from Whitmer.
Yes.
That total is $19,020.
Yep, and I have another one here from MES for $18,168. So
What's that one?
it's for the same thing for the gear. It's $18,168. Just so we add a different price, but that's the gear that we've gotten for the last several years. This is Dextran. It's not the same. It's a different brand of gear.
Okay.
So
Is it different quality and stuff, or?
yeah, it's not what we normally get.
So is
So
that fire deck's Mike?
yep, yes.
Yeah. Fire deck, yeah. Fire deck's gonna be here.
No.
No.
Yeah. So, but I had the second price here just.
Okay. All right, so $19,020 for the gear, and then the $5,538.75 for the radios. Okay. Looks like there's a state contract number for that stuff as well. Where's the radios are coming from? That Bill's Electronics?
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are state contract prices.
Yeah. Okay. You guys have any questions, or you? We're good there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion that we approve the purchase for the radios from Bill's Electronics?
I'll make the motion to purchase the radios from Bill's Electronics.
No, second.
Roll call: Wayne,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
and myself. Aye. And then do I have a motion that we purchase the suits from, where'd it go? Yeah, there's Whitmer Public Safety Group. Motions,
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
roll call: Wayne,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
and myself. Aye.
That brings you pretty well up to snuff then, Mike.
Yes. Yep.
So that's just to take care of everything you need for now.
Yep.
And everything's pretty much on the trucks.
Yeah, get little repairs here and there, but
So that, just roughly, that'll probably bring the fire tax checking account balance down to around $40,000 after those
Yeah.
are paid for. Okay. But everything was budgeted for there, has been covered then, we
Yeah.
got everything crossed off the list there for that?
Yep.
Okay. All right. We have a resolution here for categories of employment. Essentially, we're making our language correspond for employees for the benefits and stuff like that, their insurance and any other benefits they receive through the township. Bobby, you want to just kind of summarize that? Or?
Yeah, essentially what it does is it amends the existing township employee and procedure manual, and it specifies that a full-time employee is considered to be one who works a minimum of 35 hours per week, 52 weeks per year, and of course, part-time is anything that's not full-time. And the other part of it is essentially regular full-time employees are eligible for medical insurance together with their qualifying dependents, which by its language does not cover part-time employees for those particular benefits. And that's about it.
All right. Do I have a motion that we pass that resolution?
I'll make a motion to pass the resolution.
I'll second it.
Roll call, Wayne,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
and myself, aye. It's okay to sign?
Yes. I think that would be appropriate
Yeah,
to make it formal.
to make it official. I mean, should we not read anything off of the letter, or, I mean, summarize it, keep it kind of brief, I mean, resignation letter, I mean, we don't have anything, but we should have probably accepted it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can we just make it admit that one of our officers resigned, or?
Yeah, that's fine. I don't think you have to explain it.
Yeah. We're gonna add this to the agenda. We don't have his letter in front of me here to read off of, but we do have a resignation in our police department. So one of our officers resigned this past week. So just to make it official, since we have a public meeting here, just wanted to basically acknowledge that and accept his resignation. So do I have a motion that we accept Steve Breland's resignation to the Woodward Township Police Department?
I'll make a motion.
Roll call, Wayne,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
and myself, aye. All right, go to the floor.
Are there gonna be plans to cover his shifts, especially weekends?
We're working on scheduling,
Okay, 'cause I know
you know.
it was probably 3 or 4 months ago that it was brought up that all the officers were gonna work weekends. Now with Steve leaving, that leaves some weekends open.
Yeah, we're gonna discuss that.
Because we had a couple people from the public saying that that's when the coverage is needed more so than the weekend.
Right,
And it was brought up that all 3 officers were gonna cover weekends
yeah,
at the meeting, and now we're down an officer. So
right.
are all the officers gonna be working weekends?
Yeah, we're gonna be discussing that most likely in an executive session. Trying
I would
to,
like to know if we're gonna have police coverage on the weekends. I don't know if it needs to be an executive session, I think I should be on the floor.
well,
It's a public safety issue.
I can't give you a definitive answer on the schedule as to what weekends and who's gonna be working those weekends. But I know we do have an officer currently that works a couple weekends out of the month, and we're gonna try and get the other ones filled. So,
Because I know we're down to, what, 2 officers now?
right,
So they probably both have to work every other weekend to have the weekends covered.
yeah, there's, Steve, how many weekends is Miles working right now, too?
2.
Two. So we're gonna sit with the chief and try to iron out those details and potentially get another
I just know that was
officer
brought
in here.
up that we needed the coverage mostly on weekends. I think there's 3 or 4 people here that meeting that expressed that.
Yeah. I mean, typically, yeah, that's when issues arise, is weekends and nighttime, stuff like that. But yeah, we had a discussion last month about, we had some things happen in between last month and this month, and
I know when they talked about hiring a police officer, it was brought up that all 3 officers at the time would start working weekends. I didn't know
Yeah,
if that
what-
was a fact or not.
yeah, I mean, I don't remember if that was the June or July meeting, but we made a motion that we wanted, whether it was 3 officers or 4 officers or whatever, that they'd be working, that the weekends get covered.
Yeah, the
Everybody-
time was brought up that we're gonna hire a 4th officer, each officer worked 1 weekend.
Right, yeah. So we do have potentially one person that's just finishing up the academy. I think, Steve, you got somebody else that's already got police experience or something like that?
Right, now well, one I had that went to work full-time somewhere else.
Right,
And I still got the feelers out, but
yeah,
I believe the city just hired someone, so I didn't want to
right,
get somebody on board with us for them just to leave to go to another department after we have them trained. So,
right. Yeah,
the resignation this week came out of the blue, wasn't expected.
right. Well, we're gonna work with the chief and try to get that resolved and make sure that we have the coverage area that we need, but I can't really add
That's
much.
really a shame when we lost Steve, he was a good officer.
Yeah, I mean,
Man, I saw him a lot, out patrolling.
yeah. I know, positive note, he had good interaction with people in the community, so,
There were a lot of positive things about him.
but I know he's got a busy schedule and things like that, so, but, all right. Where was I? I think I was going to the floor. I'm gonna start with Roger real quick. Tried to reach out to him, no call back. We had a meeting a couple weeks ago, one of our zoning officers was there, and she potentially had to deal with him coming up, and I don't know if that happened or not. So there was an issue going on over here at the trailer court, and our one zoning officer handles those deals in there, and she was gonna reach out to him, but we haven't heard back whether she made contact with him or not. But here's what I want to do. I'll get your phone number. I don't want to have you give it out loud, but maybe you can just write it in my book here. And try and get a hold of him and get back to you by Friday. So I'll call our zoning officer and just write it down on my paper. Try and get you an answer here and see if either she did or, try and reach out to him again and see what's going on there, so. You're welcome to stick around or leave if you want, it's up to you. Do you have anything else? That's all you need? Okay. All right. Teresa?
What's going on with the lights up at the park?
The lights?
Yeah.
Which
Or
one?
lack thereof.
Which ones?
Well, like everywhere. I went up last week and a half, 2 weeks ago, when it was really nice and balmy and warm at night, and I made one trip around, and that was about it. You couldn't see anything, even have flashlight. The big lights are amber, those little lights that are like near benches or something, none of them were on.
Right, they're
It's
solar
pitch
powered.
black up there.
Yeah, they're solar powered, and I know there's been like 3 of them that the batteries have gone out in them, so they need replaced. They're like a special battery that needs to be ordered from that company. So I've actually gone up and tried to switch the light bulbs around and trying to narrow down what exactly, because I thought maybe it was a bulb that was out in them, so I switched them around on a couple of those. But I think I haven't narrowed down that the batteries are bad in them. So, but I don't know if you've been there when they're on, but they don't provide a whole lot of light anyway. I mean, they do in an area where it would
And then I
pinch.
thought, well, okay, am I here, and I'm not supposed to be here? But, I think your sign says 10 o'clock or something, I was
Yeah.
there, it was like 8,
Right,
but it was very dark, and then there were like kids coming, I could hear them bouncing a basketball. I mean, not to say they're gonna come attack me or anything, but still,
Right.
it's, very scary when you're trying to walk your dog.
yeah.
So,
Now, we looked at putting lights around there, but the cost of the electric and stuff was astronomical to go up through there to do that at the time. So that's, you know, we had a grant project and did those solar lights, which they do work to an extent, but they're not gonna like light up the, basically you can see out ahead of you where the next one is to keep walking towards that way, but it's, I mean, there is spots there where it's kind of black in between the two there. So, but it mainly just lights up probably a, I don't know, 15-foot, you know, radius around those benches, that area there.
What's the reasoning for the amber lights? Well, why are they that color? Why aren't they like?
In the parking lot?
Well, they were like all over, but the larger lights.
Yes,
I think Eric and I had a discussion about that before we were.
PPL.
Bugs?
No, there was, I mean, they're the high pressure sodium ones right there. Those ones in the parking lot.
The ones in the parking lot are HPS, they're high pressure sodium.
Yeah. And we called about this like a year ago to check about LED ones for those, but the way PPL explained it, the program was not beneficial. I mean, I know LED is supposed to be cheaper and stuff like that, but there was some cost or something there, and, you know, associated with that, and that's when I had spoke to Eric about that, that it wasn't beneficial for us to change them, so.
Well, that was my first visit, and that'll be my last, until summer, I guess, but it wasn't a good experience.
You're the first person I've ever heard say that, so I'm sorry you feel that way, but I mean, we'll try and do something.
It would have been fine if I would have, maybe I should have went earlier, but like I had a flashlight, and I just figured there would be like lights, you know, that,
Right,
I mean, I don't need lights every way, the whole way along, but
Right.
there was nothing.
I mean, prior to 3 years ago, there was no lights out there. I mean, it was just whatever was in the parking lot, and there's one on the flagpole that puts off some light down at the lower end there of the park, but, I mean, I know we have, the new pavilion up there is wired, and we did have some floodlights. I think they got used at the township building now, but they were meant to be on the post up there at that new pavilion. It was a solar, or I mean, I'm sorry, it was a dusk to dawn light. It might have broadcasted some light down there, but, you know, we can put those on, but.
Well, I just thought there would be more lights there than
Right.
there.
Right, yeah, I mean, if we put those ones on the post there, that might put some light down through there, so. We'll look into it though and try and, I think there was 9 or 10 of those ones. And I know the last time I went through them, there was 3 of them that were not working. And it's the batteries and them that are bad.
What happened to the one that's completely missing?
Took it off, take it back to the shop, yeah. Yep, so.
Is anything ever gonna be done about the posts that are out in the township right
Yeah, last meeting we discussed that. We were waiting for a letter to be confirmed that somebody had gotten that, because there was a change made to it. So,
that big rod that's there at the corner of March and Lenape, the thing really hangs out over the road. I
mhm.
mean, you know, that's disgusting.
Say it's an Arch and Lenape.
Yeah.
Right.
He has a big piece of rebar, and then he's got a smaller one. The smaller one is like bent out into the roadway, and it's hard then to go around the corner.
Right. Okay.
And the guy at the bottom of Riverview Avenue, he put landscaping boulders out there now.
Okay.
So, since we're talking about getting a $750,000 fire truck, if you had a structure fire, you're gonna be able to get around out front. You damage a new truck.
All right.
Yeah. You're not gonna go get around River Street, Riverview, or Arch Street. There's rebar, boulders.
Right.
I mean, it's a touch much. You
Right.
can't even get around there, so.
Paul, we're in clear to do that and stuff on that post right now at this point, aren't we? No stakes over there. I mean, we're
Specifically,
the removal of them. I mean, we're safe to go ahead with that.
they're in the right of way.
Yeah. I mean, we're safe to go ahead with it now with those.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah. We'll get them out before Friday. Yeah. If not, you can come back next month and call me a liar. So, but I'll take
You
pictures
know,
of
that's
it.
one thing about these masks, you know, you can't see the look behind somebody's face.
I wouldn't lie to you, they'll be out by Friday. So,
And then when you're in the.
I can't guarantee they're not gonna show back up, but if they do, we'll take them down again. So we played
Well, I
that,
can guarantee you that one
We've-
spot that may happen, but.
played that game before.
you know, At least when you're in the store, you're really looking at somebody's eyes.
Yeah,
And then you say, hey, is that you?
okay.
Thank you.
And you said the boulders are on Riverview Ave around the
We're
corner.
at the corner of Riverview Avenue and Arch Street.
Alright. Okay.
About
Yeah, we don't need them banging off of our snow plows in a few weeks.
We just send the guys over in the whole development, take
Yeah.
everything out from the development.
Yep. Yeah, we'll
Anybody that's got a post in the right of way, just pull out of the whole development back there.
send them over on Thursday.
I would, whatever you do remove, make sure you put it onto the person's property.
Okay. We won't get in trouble for going on their property?
I would say
Or
throw
should we,
it onto their property.
that or take it back to the township
Gently.
building if they want it, they can come pick it up there, or?
It would be better if you just left it there. I
Okay.
mean, that way you don't have to go through the come pick it up scenario.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like if you cut down a tree, you know.
Instead of you guys doing it, why don't you give the homeowners, the property owners a warning, give them a time frame to move it, and then if they don't do it,
Yeah, I mean,
I think you've already.
no disrespect, but we've been down that road. I mean, it's, yeah. We did try that once, and then we actually physically took them out at one point, and they were put back in the next day, and turned into a big, to-do. So, yeah, we're kind of beyond that point. We've had some other things take place in the meantime, and that's kind of what forced it where we're at now with it.
I mean, do you have anything in place that says you can't put anything there? I'm just looking at some homeowners may get a little upset that they see a township truck come in and just take their
Right.
property, and then, every little ding, they're gonna claim damage.
Yeah, we
And then
had,
it's back on you guys, that's what I'm saying, if you put it back on them, they move it, or if they don't move it,
right,
issue them whatever you need to do.
Well, my recommendation would be those who you've already discussed it with and they have basically thwarted your directive, then my suggestion would be just go ahead and remove it. Those who you have not approached, you probably should request that they remove it first,
I think.
rather than just doing it.
Well,
I would have to agree, there is some,
The area that we're talking about, those homeowners all in that section are aware of it. I mean, they've been notified through indirect or direct conversations we've had with them the whole way around that block, so. I think we should adopt that language that was in that letter that was sent out about the stakes need to be flexible, and then they're allowed to be put in for a snow event, but they need to be removed within 24 hours once the snow storm is over. I mean, I know you said like we don't technically have to do that, but I think maybe it'd be a good idea to kind of firm it up.
that's up to you gentlemen. I just have a concern by accommodating anything within the right of way.
Connor,
That's just my sentiments.
the one property owner put the flexible ones in, and those steel ones that you can hook like metal wire onto, you get them up at Walmart.
Right.
It's a steel stake that you can hook the metal fencing onto, it has the little ears on it.
Right.
Okay, so they put the orange flexible one out there, and then they drove the metal one behind it and zip tied it fast.
I know what you're talking about. Right.
That way, you damage your car if you.
The one that the
They put
language
them
was
right
written up.
on the edge of the pavement. I mean, the pavement over there is what, 15 feet wide, if
Right.
that?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
The language that was written up in that letter, it was those poly flexible ones that was the ones that would be permitted, nothing solid. So I think we need to,
That's up to you guys.
I think we probably should, as much,
Personally, if you're going to do anything, I would not indicate that you are accepting that, just don't act upon it. Are you following me?
You give them an inch, they'll take them off. And just to verify.
Well, then you act upon it, that's what I'm saying.
Nobody owns the township right of way, right?
Correct. You can't. You
I
cannot
understand.
get
You can take care
squatters.
of it all you want, but you will never own it because you don't have a deed to it. your deed says specifically how many feet you own. And, people don't really wanna go by that. They just want, I own that out there.
Well,
I mean, I just don't want them coming back in, well, you don't have anything in writing that says we couldn't have that there, you know what I mean? I know we have the right to do that, but I just feel like that's gonna be the situation, is they're gonna come back and say, I know, you know, you don't have anything that says I can't do that, so how was I supposed to know
well,
that?
I understand that, but normally,
And I mean, there's been other issues other than stakes. There's been basketball hoops that have been out, you know, in cul-de-sacs that we've had to plow around, and then they get, I mean, it's like you can't win with them. They get mad because you had to plow around their basketball hoop, and now the cul-de-sac wasn't cleaned out good enough, you know, those kind of situations. I mean, it should be just anything, really, in the right of way. And here's what's acceptable, V's for a snowstorm.
I personally just think you should, you know, oppose anything being in it.
Okay. But you don't think we need to have it in writing or something like that? You don't think it needs to be spelled out clearly?
Well, I mean, if you wanted to put it into an ordinance, the fact that there shall be no structures, you know, flexible, malleable, or whatever, you know, placed within the township right-of-ways or roads or whatever, you can do that. I mean, I think that that's pretty much inherent in the concept of a right-of-way, is what I'm saying. I mean, that's what the law is.
Right. Okay.
Bobby, what did you guys use when you went after Doc? The whole deal about Doc having a fence on the right of way. Remember that meeting? That was probably, what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? 'Cause Doc was still living. His property he owned out, I forget which road it was on, and he had a fence on the right of way. I remember that meeting. Because,
Okay,
yeah,
yes,
there was a
yes,
big
his
argument,
mother's
and
house.
Doc sat here and
It
talked
was his
and talked and
mother's
talked.
house, correct.
Oh, on Hickory Drive.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
right.
that was something in the right of way. You guys had something in writing, and he had to move it and take it down.
Right.
So, I mean,
I just think it's something that, you know, they're gonna come to the township, hey, where's my stakes, or why'd you do that? Then Jackie can just say, hey, you know, here's the ordinance, here you go, here's a copy of what.
If you wanted me to put something together, I can do that.
I just, regardless, as long as we're covered, you know,
Oh,
that's all I
I
care about.
don't think there's any question.
I mean, I think we take them down. I don't think we ought to bring them back to the building, because then we're gonna have some of them saying, well, somebody took my stakes, or just pull them out and lean them over into the yard.
Well, that's fine, but we're talking about like actually having something in writing, whether we should,
Well, what I'm saying,
yeah.
when you're saying about, so Jackie has something to hand them, if they come to township to get their stakes.
No, I'm saying they're gonna come to the township and complain about what we did.
Well, it'll be in the paper advertised as an ordinance.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking, is should we do that?
If you want me to, I can draft it. You want me to?
I think we just spell it out, make it
Just
plain and
make a
simple.
motion to that effect, and I'll do it.
I have a motion that we do an ordinance in relation to any items in the right-of-way that are not acceptable, with the exception of the flexible snow stakes during a snowstorm. And we can match that language to that letter I said about.
All right, I'll make a motion to put it in, or have Bobby put it in ordinance.
Yeah.
I'll second it.
Roll call, Wayne,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
and myself, aye.
Tom, is that ordinance, is that gonna include like trees and shrubs planted in the right of way?
It's in the right way.
Because they're not movable.
Bobby, did you hear that?
That would be up to the township.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna go around ripping people's bushes out, but I mean, if it's a problem, yeah. I mean, we could spend,
I mean, quite frankly, it's like anything else when you have various orders or regulations on the books. You have to use discretion when it comes to enforcing. And there are those cases where is it advisable or recommended to enforce something, and You know, if somebody's putting out a huge monument stone in the right-of-way that's going to affect traffic or impede it, or hurt a vehicle's structure or tires, wheels, whatever the case, okay, that's one thing. It's another thing if you let your grass grow into the right-of-way. So, I mean, that's pretty much what you're looking at. So, you know, my recommendation would be is if you're going to do it, you obviously have to use some selective enforcement in that regard.
Saying we deem a safety issue.
Yeah, and I think I can probably draft something to pretty much indicate as far as obstructions,
Okay.
what is prohibited.
So if you do this and stuff, and the people, you go and they're notified, and they don't take them out, they take them out and they put them back, and they keep doing that, do they eventually get fined? Or can they get fined?
We could make it as a fine, or we could even pursue and get an injunction against them, and then they can be held in contempt of court.
Okay, because if there's not gonna be no consequence, they're just gonna keep doing it.
Oh, no, there's remedies.
You know what I mean?
Right.
There's legal remedies, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, the reason I asked about the trees and shrubs is, up at our cul-de-sac, one of the neighbors has shrubs planted right out to the concrete, that impedes where you guys are pushing snow.
Right.
All the snow gets pushed in 3 different sections, and nothing gets pushed there because these great big shrubs are planted there.
Right.
Well, again, if they're impeding the right-of-way, there are provisions where you
They're
can
right
do
up against the cul-de-sac.
what you need
You
to
know what I
do.
mean, don't you?
Mhm.
Great big ones that, no snow gets pushed there ever. It gets pushed in front of my place, Jeff's place, and the Billy Marina's place, all the snow gets pushed there. His area is nice and clean because he has those trees there. I thought about planting trees in front of mine so the snow doesn't get pushed there.
Right.
It's one of those things, but you're, you know, like, you go down there and you take them stakes out, and that's what they'll do, you know? They'll be out there planting trees up against the pavement. I mean, I know I understand it's kind of a tight spot, but I mean, you know, the roads over there are tight. I'm here to tell you, it is an absolute pain with all that stuff out there. You know, I get it, nobody wants their yard tore up. I mean, you know, the Erie Materials guy showed up the one day with that truck, and he's in there jockeying around, backing in my yard, because my yard's the only one that doesn't have rods, stakes, and everything else out there. You know, and then he gets the delivery buggy off and pulls in through my yard, and, you know, well, the township right away, and tears it all up, because everybody else has their yards littered with, you know, everything, so that the guy can make a delivery down the alleyway.
Right.
I mean, listen, I get it, but come on, enough's enough. I mean, it's so tight in there. The recycling guy pulls down and then backs all the way out. He backs blind out onto Lenape Trail then because he can't get down and around.
Right.
He was told not to go out there.
Okay.
So,
Well, we'll act on here and try to put some measures in place that make it a little more concrete and continuing the headache of it all. We good, Bobby?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You guys good with that?
I didn't mean to go over my minutes, but.
Yeah, you're way past. We'll just deduct that off the next meeting, so. Trevor? Mike? Fire guys? Bob?
I have something to discuss with you 3 supervisors and Bobby then, before your executive.
Okay.
It's just a question that I want to ask.
Okay. You don't want it to be public?
Not this time.
Excuse me, if I may, I thought there was a statute on this, and there is, and I think I can address your issue about trees, shrubbery, whatever. In the second-class township code, the Board of Supervisors or its agents shall not remove any shrub or tree growing within the right-of-way of any township road or street, except those shrubs and trees the Board of Supervisors finds to constitute a hazardous or dangerous condition to the use of the highway, or those which impair the use or maintenance of the public road or street. So,
We have
that,
remedied that with the
that
crews.
addresses your issue. As I said, it's a discretionary matter and it has to have effect, negative effect. Otherwise, you can't do it. A structure, different.
Structure meaning what, pipes and steel?
Anything that's pretty much movable, built into the ground, fixture, whatever.
So you're saying, Bobby, up in Trevor's, when it's causing our township to push all the snow onto everybody else except for that, we could deem that as a problem or not?
I would have to say that it would probably impair the use of the public road or street, if that's the case. Yeah, it could come under that. Again, I would approach the homeowner.
Mhm.
But the answer to your question is, yeah, you can do it.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know, 'cause, you know, the next thing they will be is putting trees out there.
Okay, we good now?
Mhm.
All right,
I'm sorry.
so Bob wants to speak with us supervisors and yourself, but not necessarily public. How we address that? Is he allowed to be in executive session with us to?
Then I'll leave after.
I don't know.
Or if you really want, I'm not afraid to bring it up, I just don't want to prolong these other people.
I would have to say that he would have to bring it up at the public meeting because you folks have control over addressing matters. If he starts to get into something that amounts or merits an executive session, then I believe you could recess for that purpose.
Right.
But at this stage of the game, the executive session would have to be at your call, and since we have no clue as to what it's about, you can't do it.
Well, if it gets into that, we can just ask them to hold off
Yes.
until we go back,
Yes,
which will leave that up to you.
I'll flag it.
Yeah.
You want me to address it?
You're able to.
All right. While you're doing that, the snow plow, Rusty Bottle plows the alley between him, Wallace,
Yeah.
Denny Arcapane, I don't know who lives in the corner.
Yeah,
They always plow from 150 back,
right,
and they push it onto my side of the street, and they busted a drain pipe that goes into a catch basin that the township put.
right,
Then they leave the snow plowed from that road.
okay,
Gonna be a problem if he continues to do it.
okay,
Now, it's my understanding you cannot push snow across the road on Township Road or a state road and leave the debris which splaters to each side. And then just leave there and the people go up and down Arch Street or running through it.
right. That's the first I've heard of this problem, I know.
Well, he's been doing it for a couple of years and I've addressed it with his guys.
I know we've had a problem with the parking lot with the snow being out too close to 150 and people can't see pulling off.
You know, that alley's owned by the adjoining property owners. He only owns to the back of that building.
Right,
I don't know where he bought the trailer park. The rest belongs to the adjoining, which would be Dave Wallace and Denny Arcapane.
right. Is he the only one doing the plowing that's the issue?
Well, him or his guys.
Right, but that's where it's coming,
And
okay,
they're pushing it on my side of the street.
okay. We
And I'll
can,
tell you right now, it ain't gonna be pretty, but you'll be calling the police, because I'll be yanking somebody out of a pickup truck and beating on them.
well, we can.
And I'm, yeah, because I've had enough pushing it over there and destroying that pipe, and I have a building permit that Jeff Yarnell gave me to drain the excess water drains from Paul and I out there into that catch basin.
Right, okay. We can talk to them and address it, then.
If he wants to plow and plow from Arch out to his property here in Woodward and push the snow onto his property.
Right,
Outside that, he's the only one that uses that alley.
right, okay. Well, talk to them.
And the reason I'm bringing it up, because winter's coming,
Right,
the snow's gonna be coming.
right. Well, we'll have a talk with him and he's got plenty of room there to put it in the grass area there. on the side of the parking lot there, you know, in between there. and
On, in his, you know, whether Dave Walsh lets him put it on his property, fine.
Right,
But I'm pretty sure Denny Archipane isn't, because one year, which was last year, they pushed it and they pushed a lot of stone stuff on Denny's back there by that little
right.
garage or shed.
On the back of the lot there, out
Yeah.
the back of the lot. Right. Is that it?
Yeah, that was it.
That wasn't bad.
Well, I just didn't know if while you were dealing with that issue there with Teresa
Yeah.
and Eric were talking about, that would be looped into it or not. That was why I was gonna do it quietly.
Is, you know, sometimes when he has a lot of cars in the parking, his parking area, sometimes it is really hard to see if you're looking down towards the
Right.
fire hall here.
I feel like that would be like a
Is he
state
able
issue.
to keep them that close to the highway? So, you know, sometimes you have to inch out a little bit so you can see them. I don't feel.
You know where she's talking about, like,
complaints about it.
And the Rusty's parking lot there, he parks cars out close to the road, and if you're coming off the street there, you can't see coming out 150.
Off of Church Street.
I would think technically there probably is some type of a setback requirement.
Yeah, that'd be a state deal though.
Well, I mean, I don't know, somebody had said something once before about it, but it seems only when he has a lot of cars in his parking area, you know, in his lot. But sometimes it does get a little.
We can ask him to keep, you know, I know he usually has them right out there, and maybe he can, the two closest to the road, you know, cut it off there, they can't be out any closer than that, you know?
Well, he should be able to actually see himself, maybe.
We've had that issue on other streets, primarily right up here on North Allegheny, clear sight triangle deal there on Hillside. So, I mean, that's probably an issue for us being on Church Street, that's our road. I think it's like 75 feet or something like that, the triangle.
I don't,
I think
it is 75, yeah.
Well, you know, you guys have that sign, look left, look right,
Right.
look left, and,
Alright.
Kyle, I know I've had Steve over there, what Teresa just brought up. Remember, Steve, you've been a number of times, you and both Miles have talked to him about not only piling the snow there in the winter, but also his cars. From the center of the road, I think on State Highway, from the center end, the right-of-way is 25 feet on each side.
Yeah, that road would have a 50-foot right of way, so yeah, it'd be 25.
You got 25 to each side. So you can't block or obstruct or.
I know something was said in the past, I mean, I remember it was an issue, the snow was piled up too close to the. to
That was me
150,
making that complaint.
And
His
I know that
vehicle's,
was
that was me
addressed
making that complaint.
Right,
Because it was a safety issue and somebody's gonna get killed
right,
or hurt there, and I don't wanna see that happen.
right. Well, we'll talk to him in preparation for that, so. All right. Anything else, Bob?
No.
All right. Michelle,
I'm fine, thank you.
Kevin, Eric, Jolie? I think we got through everybody. All right. Oh, police report, Steve?
For the month of October, there was a total of 20 citations issued, a total of 55 stops, which included 26 verbal warnings and 26 written warnings and 9 verbal warnings. There's 1 criminal arrest, 11 criminal warrants served, and a total of, there's 137 calls for service, 44 follow-ups, for a total of 181 calls for service.
Okay.
Well, I just got one second, Collins. I know I sent it to the paper about we had a bad accident this past week. I can't go into the accident, but I wanted to say publicly here too, that I want to send a special thanks to the Woolwich Fire Company and Dutchtown Fire Company. They came out with traffic control, Dutchtown helped us with the lighting, everything else. They were out there for about 4 to 5 hours with me. And I just want to say thank you in a public meeting to both, fire departments for the help that they gave.
think, we might be getting approached about service in our neighboring township as well. So that would be something to talk about. I think that accident kind of, I don't know, highlighted the issue or whatever, you know. So it'd be something for discussion down the road here, but I got a feeling Dunstable is interested, so. All right. Fire company report, Mike, do you have anything, that hydrant?
Yep. 19 calls for the month of October, and I talked to Norm last Friday, and he got a little bit busy with some other stuff.
Yeah.
So the dry hydrant got pushed to the back burner, but
Yeah,
he said he'd pick back up on the paperwork and get the drawings finished, so
okay,
we'll keep working on it.
yeah. I wouldn't be surprised to see that delayed a little further, considering the circumstances with this virus situation.
Yeah,
I feel like things at this time of year are bad enough as it is, and now it sounds like we're kind of heading in the wrong direction with this stuff. I don't.
He's doing it for free for us, so it's,
Right.
he had some stuff of his own to do and stuff, so,
Right.
I mean, it's not like we need it tomorrow, so.
Yeah.
We've been wanting one for 10 years, so
Right.
another couple
Yeah.
months or so, it's not gonna hurt a thing.
Survive.
Not like we're gonna go put it in tomorrow.
All right. Trying to find the
That's the police report.
pages are stuck together here. There it is. All right. For a zoning report, we had zoning permits totaling $35. Excavation permits totaling $5, and then a burn permit totaling $5. So that was it for the month of November. Executive session. How do we want to do this, Molly? Mike, where can
We
we?
guys we can open the lounge room up, we can go to the front office, whichever you guys wanna do.
Yeah, I'd just go upstairs.
Yeah, this is good, like I said, the lounge room, wherever you guys wanna go. You tell me and I'll open it up for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just go around and open it.
Personnel, yeah, personnel and the communication policy.
Big motion.
Yeah, done a motion, we go into an executive session.
I'll make a motion to executive session.
Roll call, Wayne, John, Howard, myself, Mike. Should we bring some more? Try and keep going with some things.
That's your.
Steve.
No.
I feel like we need to help us play into that. You know, just scheduling.
Yeah.